report from the Baton Rouge Mayor's office on the BRAVE program, what it reveals about federal dollars funding the program being pulled.
Bouncing back from the August 2016 flood, just as thousands of students go back to school at flood-repaired schools. We'll have an update on the recovery.
And getting answers about flooding in New Orleans. Officials say all the pumps weren't working during Saturday's heavy rain.
Looks like we're going to see a little bit more rain today. Already starting to see a few showers along the coast. We'll have an update coming up in a bit.
A foggy drive around town. I'll show you where it's the most dense coming up.
Now, from WBRZ News 2, this is Tune In.
It's 5 a.m. Good morning, South Louisiana. We're glad you could tune in on this Tuesday, August 8th. I'm John Kester.
Good morning. I'm Kylie Dix along with Ashley and Robert, who's in for Josh. Good morning, both of you.
Good morning.
Foggy, that's an understatement.
Yeah, foggy. It's one of those days where weather and traffic are probably going to go hand in hand, so we have to just drive with some caution.
Yeah, it's really thick out there.
Yeah, it's because we got so cool yesterday, and so now that the clouds have given out a little bit, it's allowing our temperatures to really drop. All that rain cooled air yesterday starting to really approach that dew point temperature, meaning that the air is getting completely saturated across much of southeast Louisiana. Already starting to see a few isolated sprinkles down toward the coast. We're going to see a little bit more later today as well. You can see that here on the high resolution futurecast. As you can see, once we move into the afternoon, expecting some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the area. Day ahead, you can see, yep, there's that layer of fog. Almost waiting for the dinosaur's head to pop out or something like Jurassic Park. You can see partly cloudy skies today, this morning, as well as some fog. But as we move into the afternoon today, expect another chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms with some sunshine poking in as well. We'll likely be staying out of the 90s one more day because of all the rainfall and all of the cloud cover. Now, as we move for the rest of the state, you can see showers expected everywhere, pretty much thanks to a stationary front, a weakness in an area of high pressure. But that high pressure eventually moving further toward the east is going to protect us from Tropical Storm Franklin. We'll talk about that coming up in about 10 minutes. Right now, let's take a look at traffic with Ashley.
Thank you, Robert. Well, on my drive into work, I hit a lot of fog driving through the 1012 corridor. So this morning, you might find the same situation there. But right now, the drive times are still normal and no major accidents or breakdowns. Just about 4 minutes from the 1012 up towards the I-10-110. Let's go ahead and send you right outside and get that live check of what's going on. Here's the drive-in from Prairieville. I know this camera's still black and white, but you can still obviously see how foggy it is for that Prairieville commuter. Coming in from Denham, not quite as bad as once you hit O'Neill. So some areas you're going to hit a dense patch, and that's when you want to turn on those low beams to guide you through. The high beams just don't really work as well as the low beams in fog. Checking out the 1012, as I mentioned, right past it, this is around Acadian. It does ease up a bit. You can see there is a stalled out car on the side of the road here, but this is not causing any issues for traffic. So this morning, you want to leave yourself a little extra time to get around town as it is pretty foggy. Back to you.
All right, Ashley, thank you very much. There's a possible break this morning in the abduction case out of Lafayette Parish.
Authorities in West Baton Rouge Parish pulled 2 bodies from the Intracoastal Canal Monday. According to the sheriff, the first body is possibly a man connected to the kidnapping over the weekend. The second body was found about 4 hours later, and authorities say also matches the description of someone related to the case. Authorities are still looking for this man. Lawrence Handley is accused of abducting a woman from Lafayette. She was found safe Sunday in West Baton Rouge after a search. Investigators believe the incident is related to an ongoing domestic dispute between Handley and the victim.
Baton Rouge Mayor Sharon Weston Broome released a 9-page explanation detailing what went wrong with the BRAVE program amid controversy over some contracts she awarded.
I stand by the report that we put out. I believe this report is a very comprehensive report, provides a lot of information and transparency as it relates to the BRAVE program.
The mayor's report, the administration outlines why the federal government is discontinuing the BRAVE program in 2 months, citing that the federal government was unsatisfied with the previous administration for not providing on-time reports about the program's progress. And in an attempt to not lose the federal dollars, Mayor Broome's administration approved some small contracts in which she suspended last week. Republican Metro Councilman Buddy Amoroso is accusing the mayor of helping her political supporters.
Appears to me that it's kind of political favors being given out to supporters of the mayor's office.
I have been very transparent in this whole process. First of all, as I've stated on a number of occasions, I was not involved in the execution of those contracts. And at this present time, all contracts that I cited are still suspended and they are under review.
Mayor also says that she doesn't have a deadline for completing the review of the suspended contracts. The BRAVE program is scheduled to end September 30th.
As New Orleans recovers from a weekend of heavy rain, more rain is expected this week. But during a rain break, Governor John Bel Edwards got a chance to tour some of the affected areas. Right now, there's no monetary value on damage, but leaders don't believe it will meet the required amount for disaster aid. Water officials say 7 of the city's 121 pumps were not working Saturday. They were down for maintenance. The city says those few pumps would not have made a difference.
We don't take all the pumps out at the same time to do preventive maintenance. We're very selective about how we do that. When you have 9.4 inches of rain over a 3-hour period, there's nothing that we could do. If we instead of, if all 121 pumps would have worked, we'd have been in this situation.
Officials say despite the system operating without all the pumps, it was still pumping water out at max capacity. City tow trucks have been busy over the past few days, removing dozens of cars abandoned during the flood. The vehicles were taken to the impound yard, but city leaders say there won't be any fines for people whose cars flooded or were left on dry ground for protection. Looking ahead, the alarms will go off, buses will roll, and bells will ring for the first day of school in East Baton Rouge, Ascension, and Livingston parishes. Students in those 3 parishes head back tomorrow. Tune In will be live in each school district for the first day starting at 5 a.m. 1 year ago, the first few weeks of school were interrupted by the August flood.
Yeah, those school districts are bouncing back after flood renovations. Ribbon cutting was held at Santa Ma Primary Middle School last night. Officials opening restored buildings. Parents and students reflected on the past school year and watched the documentary about the flood. The principals at both schools also talked about the obstacles they faced.
It's good to have it back. Good to have her back in her home campus for school, back with our friends and everybody else.
It was difficult. It was a very difficult year for us, but you know what? We're moving forward.
Moving forward indeed. And as we mentioned, students in Ascension head back to class tomorrow. Livingston Parish schools are just bouncing back from the flood building, but with students as well. Enrollment numbers are returning to normal. At one point, the school system is possibly going to cut jobs. School Superintendent Rick Wenzel says that schools were down some 573 students in the months following the August flood. Since then, there's been a resurgence in students, and Wenzel credits the school's strong test scores.
They saw we were committed to still providing a quality education, and our scores reflected that at the end of the year. So as a result, people want to be back into our school system, and we're glad to have them back.
The Livingston Parish School Board also added 55 buses for the new school year.
Looking ahead, the countdown is on until the school bell rings. Before that happens, the school board wants you to make sure you have transportation plans figured out. Tune In's Michael Vincino joins us live this morning with what you can do. Michael, hey, good morning. Okay, so where can parents find out about school transportation for their kids?
Kylie, well, ready or not, tomorrow the school bell will ring and these buses will be on the streets ready to pick up those children, ready to go to school for the first day of class. Now, what the school board is advising that for any parents who have any questions about the transportation routes for these buses, is about a dozen hotline numbers that you can call, and they will answer any of your questions with your routes. They'll have those solved just simply by calling in. We'll have those dozen numbers on our website in just a little while. But with also tomorrow being the first day of school, they also want people and drivers especially to be aware of those school zones. As many people know, it'll go back down to 20 or 25 miles an hour from most places from 7 to 9 tomorrow morning. So just another reason for drivers to be extra cautious with the first day of school being tomorrow. Back to you.
Michael Vitzno reporting. We appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, still to come on this Tuesday, professors and staff members at LSU will be seeing a bump in their paychecks next month. Why the university is giving a 3% raise to employees. All the details later in the newscast.
And Sam Hunt will be having a house party when he headlines the Flambeau Fest this fall. The whole lineup from the Music Fest will be released, and Kylie's going to sing the list. Coming up later in Tune In.
Definitely don't want to
do a little house party for us?
No, I'm not going to ruin people's morning.
Well, we're having a house party this morning. It's 5:09. Yes, on this Tuesday morning, 74 degrees outside and lots of fog in the area. You might say it's a foggy Bayou breakdown.
74 degrees at this moment in Baton Rouge. The temperature a little cooler than yesterday. It makes sense. We got a lot of rain yesterday, and now the fog has formed. Sunrise won't be until 6:27 a.m. this morning. The winds are calm, and as a result, it allows fog to form. So we're a little bit foggy out there. I'm trying to move to the next graphic, so maybe if I cross my fingers. 74 degrees is the current temperature, and as we take a look at the radar, there you go. We can see a few isolated sprinkles down toward the coast, but you also see a massive area of rain off of Texas starting to come in across the Louisiana border. So Lake Charles about to see some morning showers, and then you can see across the Baton Rouge area so far we're pretty dry. During your commute this morning, expect a chance for a couple isolated sprinkles, but once we move into the afternoon, that's when we could be probably hitting on the brakes a little bit. Even though the yellow light is here, you'll probably be seeing a lot of red lights in front of you, kind of like yesterday, because of some rainfall expected by the afternoon with some peaks of sunshine in there as a result. UV index is in the red today. Air quality is green and pollen is green, so things are looking good there. If we go ahead and take a look at at the cloud cover, you can see some of the cloud cover now. Also, not as bad across our area, even though we do have the fog, but heavier cloud cover off toward the west, and the radar again as a result. Even a flash flood warning looks like in Harris County, Texas. So by the afternoon, expect a chance for some scattered showers and thunderstorms with peaks of sunshine. Highs not reaching the 90s today again. We'll only reach mid to upper 80s. Lows will be in the mid 70s again tonight, and the chance for some fog possible, so it might mess up your commute tomorrow morning. But what about your commute this morning? That's all you care about right now. Let's get the latest update with Ashley.
Thank you, Robert. Well, right now we have no major accidents or breakdowns, but you're going to hear us say it a lot today. It is foggy out there, so of course just drive with some extra caution. Checking out LA1 right now, southbound, seeing some yellows popping up on the map, so a little more congestion on that southbound side. This is typical for this time of morning, so about 18 minutes from Port Allen into Plaquemine. We know that route, and it usually is about 14 minutes, so you can bump up that time a bit. Washington to LA1 about 2 minutes, so no issues there crossing over the river. It's just once you get to that southbound side, the slowdown starts. Let's go ahead and take a look outside and get your live check around town. You can see here it is just the visibility is just so much lower, and so right here there is a slowdown right there at the LA1 exit ramp. Once you get here southbound, that stop and go traffic will start in that area. Northbound, very easy going, low volume, hardly any cars there. You can see the bridge on this side, cars just kind of going off into the abyss there, but a bit of a slowdown right at the top of the bridge. And here's that Denham Drive also showing that lower visibility. So this morning, give yourself some extra time as you head out the door. Drive times will be bumped up a bit as people do slow it down in this foggy condition. Back to you.
All right, Ashley, thank you very much. All quiet this morning in an Arkansas maximum security prison, 45 minutes from Little Rock. But that wasn't the case for about 3 hours on Monday. 6 inmates overpowered officers, stole keys, and took control of the prison. No one was injured once everything ended, and the inmates were taken to a different secure location. Formal investigation will be open to determine what circumstances led to the prison takeover. Now to Washington, where President Trump's approval rating down to an all-time low with voters across the country.
While his administration admits there's work to do, the president seemingly unbothered, going on a Twitter tirade. ABC's Ariel Reshef has more.
The president spending more than 2 weeks away from the White House after a turbulent first 6 months in office. The most recent CNN polling putting Donald Trump's approval rating at just 38%. His favorability among Republicans, 59%.
It needs to go up. They are telling him, just enact your program.
Still, the commander-in-chief isn't putting too much stock in the findings, tweeting, the Trump base is bigger and stronger than ever before, despite phony fake news polling. The president pointing to rallies in Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Iowa as evidence of solid support. On Monday, Trump unleashing a Twitter tirade targeting Democratic Senator Richard Blumenthal. The president reviving an old embarrassment for the lawmaker who once apologized for insinuating he served in the Vietnam War. Interesting to watch Senator Richard Blumenthal of Connecticut talking about hoax Russia collusion when he was a phony Vietnam con artist, Trump tweeted. The president incensed after Blumenthal criticized the Justice Department's war on would-be leakers.
I'm very concerned that the Department of Justice is weaponizing these laws for its personal and political ends.
In that interview, Blumenthal also embracing special counsel Robert Mueller's investigation into possible collusion with the Russians. And the senator not backing down.
I won't be distracted by these bullying tweets. If anything, they strengthen my resolve.
President Trump also taking to Twitter to blast the New York Times and lamenting what he saw as a lack of media coverage about the latest sanctions on North Korea. Ariel Reshef, ABC News, Washington.
Okay, JP, get ready. A pilot-less plane. Would you fly on one?
Absolutely.
I would not.
I'd like to go to Mars in one of those.
Pilot, please.
Yeah. And how about some senior respect, okay? 2 T-Mobile lines for just $60. But look, we can't take advantage of it. You got to be 55 or older.
Oh, we can't? I think someone can at this desk.
2 youngsters, ABC's Candace and Diane, have all the details in today's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, could robots soon be flying your plane?
UBS has released a report saying that remotely controlled airliners could be taking off within 8 years.
But passengers aren't on board yet with that idea. Only about 1 in 5 people surveyed said they would take a pilotless flight.
T-Mobile is introducing a new 55-plus plan.
It's offering seniors 2 lines for only $60 a month, but unlike other carriers, this is a full-fledged smartphone plan with unlimited data.
And Apple is now on Instagram. The company is showing off photos shot on iPhones by us.
Apple curators will look for the hashtag shot on iPhone and ask the creator for permission to share them on Apple's official Instagram account. Your photo could be next.
Haven't we always been shooting on iPhones on Instagram?
I mean, have they seen my selfie game?
Well, that's true. There are plenty of those.
Those are your Tech Bites.
Have a good one.
Well, kind of an unsettled pattern here over the next couple days until about midweek. Then we should see the rain settle down slightly and the temperatures will respond by returning to the 90s, but the low 90s. It's still cooler than average. And then Franklin, he's saying hola this morning. We'll talk about him a little bit, but he's no threat to the United States. 73 degrees right now in Jackson, 74 in Baton Rouge, 73 in Houston, and 77 in Dallas. We're all pretty much in the same ballpark, a little warmer down toward Florida and then closer toward the upper 60s from Oklahoma City over towards Charlotte. Now, if you take a look at the surface map, have an area of high pressure moving further east, which is good news for us because it kind of protects us from Franklin. As you can see, an area of high pressure also off to the east of Georgia, the Carolinas, and Florida. And there's a little weakness in between these high pressures, though, and we have a stationary front in between them as well. And so as a result, we're going to see kind of an unsettled pattern here. And seeing that this morning, definitely in some parts, not so much in southeast Louisiana. We do have a couple little isolated sprinkles down toward the coast, but they say everything is bigger in Texas, and we have a bigger storm over here in Texas. You can see scattered showers and thunderstorms with some heavy pockets of rain in there. In fact, even a flash flood warning for Harris County. Taking a look down toward the coast, there you go. A couple little isolated sprinkles on your windshield to start your morning. Maybe if you're out there on the boat, might have to dodge a few sprinkles as well. So Futurecast showing more scattered showers and thunderstorms expected today with bits of sunshine in between there. Not too much different from a normal summer day, perhaps a little bit more rain than a normal summer day. As we move into Wednesday, you can see, again, more scattered showers and thunderstorms expected in the forecast. And then Thursday, similar story. Now, the whole state's covered on Thursday, but don't see it being that much coverage. We're going to see likely a little bit less coverage as we move into Thursday. So you can see the first few days of the week really starting off a little bit more wet. As we move into Saturday and Sunday, a little bit lower chance for some coverage. Again, temperatures respond by going into the lower 90s. Lows in the mid-70s each day. That means the humidity is here, and it's not going to budge very much. In fact, if we see a lot of rain, kind of like we did yesterday, at least heavy rain in some spots, we'll likely see a little bit of fog form as well. So keep that in mind. This morning, fog may impact your commute. So with that, let's go ahead and talk to Ashley and see what she can tell us.
Thank you, Robert. Well, it is 5:24 right now. Traffic is slow and go on LA1 right over that Intercoastal Canal Bridge. This area is very slow and it kind of eases up once you get to about Addis. So let's take you outside and get that live check. Here you can see those taillights bumping as they're headed towards that Addis area from Bruley and that Port Allen area. So that drive here is going to be slow and go, and you can just see a lot of cars close together as many commuters are traveling in that same direction. Here's the bridge. The slowdown starts right around the St. Ferdinand on-ramp as a couple of cars are going that way too, and you will see that it is foggy at the top of the bridge. Here's a couple of cameras where the fog is very dense. This is Gonzales. You'd barely know it if I didn't tell you. Right over here is those outlet malls. So if you're traveling eastbound through Gonzales, drive with caution. If you continue westbound, you'll end up here. This is Prairieville. So this morning, allow for some extra time, maybe get that breakfast to go, as you're going to find that patch or two of fog that'll slow things down, certainly if this continues throughout the morning. Back to you.
Thank you, Ashley. Here's a look at stories making headlines on this Tuesday.
Authorities in West Baton Rouge have a possible break in an abduction case out of Lafayette. 2 bodies were found Monday in the Intracoastal Canal. The sheriff believes that the bodies are connected to a case where a woman was kidnapped over the weekend. She was found safe Sunday in West Baton Rouge after a search. Authorities are still looking for this man, Lawrence Hanley. They believe the incident is related to an ongoing domestic dispute between Hanley and the victim.
Baton Rouge Mayor Sharon Weston Broome released a 9-page explanation detailing what went wrong with the BRAVE program amid controversy over some contracts she awarded. In the mayor's report, it says the feds cut funding to the program because the previous administration didn't provide on-time reports about the program's progress. That's why the Broome administration approved some small contracts in which the mayor suspended last week to not lose federal dollars. Some believe the mayor awarded those contracts to her political allies.
And people in Mexico are taking cover as Tropical Storm Franklin churns. Storm is strengthening over the Caribbean Sea. The government of Mexico has issued a hurricane watch for parts of the Yucatan Peninsula, expected to dump between 6 and 12 inches of rain in some areas. That storm is expected to pass through Belize and Honduras.
Okay, Flambeau Fest, it's coming.
Along with some big names in country and rock. We've got the list. She's actually going to sing the list for us coming up later. What is that house party song that you were humming?
No, we're just gonna go to break. I will not sing, don't worry.
You need to...
We'll be back.
All your rowdy friends have settled down, huh?
You're watching Tune In on WBRZ.
Good morning, and thanks for tuning in on this Tuesday, August 8th. I'm Kylie Dixon.
Good morning. I'm John Pastrick, and our top story, getting answers about flooding in New Orleans. The Sewer and Water Board will release information at today's Metro Council meeting. This comes after water officials revealed that 7 of the city's 121 pumps were not working on Saturday. They were down for maintenance. The city says those few pumps would not have made a difference with the record amount of rain that fell at once. Governor John Bel Edwards got a chance to tour some of the flooded areas yesterday.
Another big story, historically low approval rating for President Trump. According to a CNN poll, after 6 months in the White House, President Trump's approval rating is 38%. 60% of those polled say they find the president dishonest.
Starting off in the 70s this morning, but it's a foggy bayou breakdown out there, man. Just thick fog all over the city.
You know, a lot of people find weathermen dishonest too. They don't trust.
Well, we know you're going to tell us the truth this morning.
Well, that's right. That's what the WBRZ weather team does. In fact, here's a good example. You can see 40% of us were forecast to see rain yesterday. That's what I called for yesterday morning. And about 50% of us actually saw rain. Now, obviously, some of us saw much heavier rain than others, but 50% of our forecast area actually saw rain. So I was off about 10%. So, yeah, I lied a little bit, I guess. You can blame me. But we did see some rain yesterday, and we're going to definitely see some rain. It says today's rainfall, but it should be yesterday's rainfall. We're going to see a little bit more, and hey, look, it's a brachiosaur. Member of the sauropod family. Almost you can see, yeah, where the fog level, our camera goes just above the fog level. So as we move into the afternoon, we're going to see this cloud cover disperse, or the fog, I should say, disperse, and we'll probably see some sunshine as well before finally some more scattered showers and thunderstorms. 74 degrees is the current temperature. We can see mostly clear sky, or mostly clear as far as rain is concerned across southeast Louisiana, but we do have some scattered showers off toward the west. So keep in mind that you're going to have to deal with some fog this morning during your commute. But once we get to the later morning hours, things should be all right. But once we get into the afternoon, that's when we'll see, again, some more scattered showers and thunderstorms. So you're going to want to take precautions, check the weather before you head out of work or school. Extreme UV index today with air quality pretty good, and pollen also fairly low. Stay connected with us on social media. You can follow me, RG3WBRZ, also in Espanol and American Sign Language. Now, let's go ahead and toss it to Ashley and see what the latest update on traffic is.
Thank you, Robert. Well, no dinosaurs on our roadways, I guess, unless you get behind a slow driver, I suppose. But not at this time. We're not seeing any major problem spots. It is foggy, though, so of course, take note of that as you head out the door. Southbound on LA1 is congested at this time. This is normal. People who drive this route are used to it. Let's go ahead and take a look outside and see what's going on now. Through the Intercoastal Canal Bridge, stop and go traffic. Here it is. You can see it right here on this camera. Northbound is nice and quiet. Because we have that slowdown southbound, here is that slowdown on the exit ramp at LA1. But your bridge drive isn't too bad aside from that fog that you're going to hit, especially right at the top. Checking out the Denham Drive, there is that lower visibility here, but mostly around O'Neill, we're seeing a very foggy drive, as well as in Gonzales and Prairieville. So those areas where we're seeing a lot of commuters heading up to work, we're going to see a lot of fog there. So just turn on your low beams if you hit a dense patch. All right, let's turn it over to news now.
All right, thanks, Ashley. All right, summer officially ends today. It's the last day of summer for thousands thousands of area school children.
It's only August 8th.
I know.
But it's back to school time for students in Ascension, East Baton Rouge, and Livingston parishes. School bells will ring in the new school year tomorrow morning for public school children, so be aware of heavy traffic at school zones which go back into effect. TuneIn has the first day of school covered, each parish live, as all 3 school districts kick off the school year, 1 year following the Great August Flood. Our coverage begins tomorrow morning, bright and early at 5. Looking ahead, it's just a matter of hours now until the school bell rings. Before that happens, kids will be getting on the buses, and school officials want to make sure you have all the right information. TuneIn's Michael Vincento is live this morning with what you can do to finalize your plan. Hey, Michael, good morning. So what do parents need to know this day before school starts?
Well, JP, there is a hotline, a whole dozens of numbers that you can call in for those parents, but I can tell you this time tomorrow morning, I don't know if this bus will be here, probably out on the streets, picking up kids, getting ready for the first day of school. Is about 24 hours from now. Those kids will be waiting at the curb, ready to head to class. But back to that hotline number, again, there's a dozen numbers that you can call in, and they will answer any of your questions. They will solve the routes, any questions with the routes that you may have just by calling in. We'll provide those dozen numbers or so on our website in just a few minutes. But with tomorrow also being the first day of school, the school board here in East Baton Rouge, as well as all of the other districts in the area, they want people to be aware of the different school zones. Of course, summertime, they may have driven quickly through those areas, but just be aware tomorrow morning and even tomorrow afternoon and in the days to come of those school zones, and be cautious as you drive through them. Back to you.
All right, Michael Vincento reporting live this morning. Thanks for that. In keeping with transportation, Baton Rouge Mayor Sharon Weston Broome held her first meeting about her new transportation tax. The 5-mil property tax hike would fund an estimated $445 million in road and transportation improvements in the parish. The mayor is seeking input from the community before it goes to the ballot this fall. The next public meeting is next Tuesday at the Jones Creek Library.
From the investigative unit, a lawsuit against Southern University filed by WBRZ and the Advocate over public records. The conflict comes after the investigative unit and the Advocate examined the East Baton Rouge Parish Council on Aging. The suit focuses on records related to Southern employee Dorothy Jackson. Jackson is also a Council on Aging board member and wrote the will of one of her clients at Southern. She was suspended, but the university refuses to release public records tied to the investigation.
I think it's particularly significant here that we're talking about a law professor. So a law professor knows that public records need to be subject to public scrutiny. The public has a right to know. So in this case, particularly, it should alarm the public that you have a public entity and that this professor is entitled to indicate that results of the investigation were incorrect or improper, but what they don't have a right to do is hide those from the public. So taxpayers need to understand what is happening here.
A hearing is expected within 10 days. Southern University said it is reviewing the lawsuit and will abide by whatever the court decides. Looking ahead, meetings between the governor and business leaders from across the state to figure out how to bridge the budget gap. State leaders have to patch more than another $1 billion hole in next year's budget. Temporary taxes are set to expire soon. The governor will also be hosting meetings in different areas around the state in addition to speaking to lawmakers. A solution could help alleviate possible cuts to health care and education.
After years of budget cuts at LSU, faculty and staff are getting pay raises. President F. King Alexander says they'll see a 3% raise next month. The move is an effort to keep professors from leaving LSU. Alexander says budget cuts wreaked havoc on the school's faculty roster, and he says the raises are possible because lawmakers spared the school from budget cuts this past session. Faculty Senate President Kevin Cope says the raise is a step in the right direction for Louisiana's future.
It is key at this point to think about the overall economic and indeed intellectual future of Louisiana. If we don't maintain our commitment to quality of life as well as economic prosperity in Louisiana, we are going to lose not only now, but in the long term.
Despite the employee raise, students will still have to pay more to attend LSU. This year, undergrads will pay $270 more per semester in student fees. New review system in Louisiana will base teachers' job reviews off their students' test scores. Controversial method was enacted under former Governor Bobby Jindal, but has been on hold for 4 years. The review will only affect public school math, English, science, and social studies teachers. Coming up when Tuna continues, from Southern rock to a country boy who can survive, Flambeau Fest has a rockin' lineup. We're going to show you who's going to be rocking the stage at Lamar Dixon coming up.
And the drama is over on The Bachelorette. Rachel makes her big decision, where you can see her and her new fiance. Also coming up, it is 5:39, 74 degrees on this Tuesday morning. JP may have been right. We'll be back.
Welcome back, everyone. 74 degrees this morning. You can see our tower cams above the layer of fog, and looks like the brachiosaur went away. Maybe he'll come back. Calm winds at the moment, allowing that fog to form, and we're not going to see any rain this morning across Baton Rouge. We are seeing a few isolated sprinkles down along the coast, and then further toward the west, we are seeing some more scattered showers in southeast Texas. Now, as we look at the afternoon, you can see the chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. And then guess what? Tomorrow afternoon, we'll see the chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. Could even start the day off with a little bit of fog. We're kind of in an unsettled pattern due to a weakness between those two areas of high pressures that I mentioned earlier. One of them protecting us from Franklin, but because of that weakness, we're going to see this chance for an elevated chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms for the first couple days or so, and then after that, things should calm down a little bit. As the rain tapers away, temperatures will respond by jumping into the 90s, but not today. 88 degrees will be the high, a bit of sunshine. Well, again, with some scattered storms, winds out of the west, about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, getting down to 76 degrees. Also partly cloudy with the chance for a little bit of fog again if we see more rain, especially the areas that see the heavier rain closer toward rivers, bayous, things like that. Winds are calm, will be calm tonight as well. As we take a look at the 7-day, you can see the first few days a little bit wetter than the latter few days. You can see by the weekend we taper the rain chances a little bit, and then temperatures respond by jumping to the 90s, but still the low 90s. I mean, we really haven't seen too many days. Maybe I shouldn't say this, maybe I shouldn't jinx it, but we haven't seen too many days in the mid-90s so far this year. Even though the year has been warm, summer has been somewhat temperate and well, a little bit below seasonable. Right now, let's take a look at traffic though with Ashley.
Thank you, Robert. We will certainly take what we can get as far as that heat goes. Well, on our foggy drive this morning, we do not have any major accidents or breakdowns at this time. So looking pretty good aside from that lower visibility. So traveling in from I-12 westbound, your drive times are normal if you're coming in from Livingston. So range to the 10-12 split, about a 10-minute drive, 6 minutes or so Walker to range. These numbers could be bumped up a bit as you might want to lower that speed in that fog. Let's go ahead and take a look around town and see what we have now, if anything has changed. It looks like southbound LA1 has certainly cleared up. This is that area where we saw most of the congestion this morning. It looks a whole lot better than it did earlier, so that's an improvement. As expected, that traffic pattern does clear up around this time. The bridge this morning did not see any major problems from the slowdown on LA1 South, so you're looking good at this time. 12 at O'Neill, here's that foggy area as you're traveling towards Baton Rouge, or of course if you're traveling outbound as well. And then Gonzales showing very heavy fog this morning, so those are the two areas you want to toss on those low beams to help you guide you through that foggy condition. All right, let's toss you back to news.
All right, Ashley, thank you very much. Well, a couple in California didn't have the funds to buy a mansion on an exclusive street in San Francisco, so they purchased what their money could buy, the actual street.
Yeah, instead of the $1 million house, they put up $90,000 for the street.
I cannot afford like a mansion here, but if I can own a street, I'm happy to own a street.
Why not? Well, the street, built in 1905, is one of the most exclusive streets in San Francisco. But thanks to 30 years of the Homeowners Association's tax bill going to the wrong address and the taxes not being paid, the street and sidewalks, as well as all of the wound up internet treasures, it all ended up on the internet on the treasurer's tax auction. The homeowners are not happy about the sale and want their association to negate it.
Pretty sure that like the law is really clear on my ownership, so I'm pretty comfortable that we will prevail. The rich people like to do their thing. They don't like to talk. They just want to use the money to sue everybody.
The sales are absolutely valid.
The couple isn't sure what they plan to do at the street. There's a chance they're going to charge the homeowners for parking. A hearing on the matter is scheduled for October. All right, so if you're a fan of The Bachelorette, then you already know Rachel got engaged. Rachel Lindsay picked Brian as her final guy. JP guessed it yesterday. After weeks of dating more than 30 guys, in the end, she chose Brian, who then proposed to her. The two will make their debut this morning on Good Morning America.
Did you see the ring?
Woo. Did I see it?
You can't miss it. Well, the inaugural Flambeau Fest in Gonzales will bring in some big names to the capital area. Hank Williams Jr. and all his rowdy friends, Leonard Skinner and Sam Hunt, one of your favorites, will be headliners. Festival is October 7th and 8th at Lamar Dixon Expo Center. Tickets go on sale this Friday. We have a list of the prices and more of the lineup posted at WBRZ.com. Well, Flambeau Fest comes 1 year after it was announced that the Bayou Country Superfest would be leaving Tiger Stadium. Promoters suggested moving the concert to Lamar Dixon, but organizers eventually decided to move it to the Superdome in New Orleans.
Well, I think it's going to be great for Lamar Dixon. I think they're going to have a great turnout.
Who do you want to see out of that lineup?
Great lineup. They have Sam Hunt, Dustin Lynch. They have all like the popular country guys.
You go see?
Yeah, I would go see him for sure.
Leonard Skinner.
There you go. Well, we'll go together then. How's
Sweet
that?
home Alabama.
All right. You know what they say? Cleveland rocks.
Not this week, as they take on the Black and Gold in the Saints' first preseason game. We've got a preview coming up. Cleveland doesn't rock.
We'll be back.
Shreveport rocks.
The real NFL season is about a month away, but we do have preseason games.
And the Saints are getting ready for their first game this week against Cleveland. Head coach Sean Payton hasn't said just yet how he plans to distribute playing time or how much stars like Drew Brees or even running back Adrian Peterson might play. But Payton has his expectations of how things should operate, and that doesn't change for a preseason game, even if some fans feel like they're meaningless snaps.
Obviously, you want to see how your young guys perform, but you also want to see how some of these veterans are going to perform. You know, guys maybe that are new to our team or guys that have been with us. So the evaluation becomes challenging if the player is struggling with what to do. You know, then before the play's even snapped, he probably has little, if any, chance of having any success. So you're wanting it to be crisp. You're wanting guys to be moving and playing fast downhill. So we'll have a chance to see that.
The Saints and Browns set to kick it off this Thursday at 7 o'clock.
Before I say anything, who dat? Unsettled pattern over the next couple days, looking at some scattered showers and thunderstorms this afternoon and really tomorrow as well. And then as the rain actually does taper down a bit, temperatures will return to the 90s. We haven't seen the 90s in a while because of all the rainfall. Franklin also saying Olaz, it's made landfall in Mexico. We'll talk about him in a little bit. 74 degrees, no dinosaurs out there yet. Calm winds with dew point 73 degrees. If you take a look at the satellite and radar, we can see a couple little isolated sprinkles along the coast, but as we move toward the west, what we can see is a little bit more scattered showers and thunderstorms. And as we take a look at the futurecast, what we'll see is, again, another chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast by the afternoon. And then this will continue into the early evening hours before things settle down. Now, if we get some rain-cooled air, that will help potentially cause some more fog tomorrow. What we can see tomorrow as well is more scattered showers and thunderstorms in the forecast. And again, that's part of that unsettled pattern. So a bit of sun today, but expect some scattered showers and thunderstorms. 88 degrees will be the high. Winds light out of the west, or even maybe perhaps even a little southerly component to those. 76 for the low tonight, partly cloudy and with some fog, especially over those rain-cooled areas near some bodies of water, areas like that with some, again, some calm winds. Now, the 7-day forecast, you can see what we're going to expect is at least the first several days a little bit wetter than normal with some scattered showers and thunderstorms. But then as that area of high pressure starts to it's not going to completely take over our weather pattern, but it's going to influence our pattern a little bit. It'll help lower rain chances a little bit as we move into the weekend with highs in the low 90s and then lows in the mid 70s. And then there's Franklin. We'll talk about him in about 20 minutes, but as you can see, not going to affect the United States as he moves into central Mexico. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at traffic now with Ashley.
Thanks, Robert. 5:55 and the fog continues this morning. We're seeing that lower visibility as you're traveling around town, especially over in Livingston and in Ascension. Checking out those roadways in Ascension right now, a slowdown on Highway 73. You can see the red on the map. That's going to be over in Dutchtown, so a slow drive on the southbound side from about I-10 to Highway 74. Let's go ahead and take a peek outside and see what we could find this morning. Still showing that lower visibility over in Prairieville, also coming in from Denham Springs. Here's O'Neill, very dense in this area, so drive with caution. And then if you're headed into downtown Baton Rouge, I-10 around Acadian, you can see that westbound side is filling in. All right, your ferry's in service. Let's send you back to news.
Thank you, Ashley. Still to come, our second hour of Tune In with more news, weather, and traffic.
But first, it's time to honor America with the Daily Pledge. And to lead us this morning, some patriotic campers from Shelby Smith's group. at the Parkview Baptist Eagle Experience Summer Camp.
WBRZ News 2 and the Baton Rouge Clinic are proud to bring you the Daily Pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Join us